The sky's not even close to the limit when it comes to Elon Musk, another active Twitter member. The SpaceX CEO is unveiling his new plans for Mars, hoping to send 2 cargo ships to the Red Planet by 2022 and then colonists shortly after. A pretty tight deadline considering Mars is about 55 million kilometers from Earth, but Musk says he finds the challenge exciting.
You want to be inspired by things. You want to wake up in the morning and think the future is going to be great. And that's what being a spacefaring civilization is all about. It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past. And I can't think of anything more exciting than going out there and being among the stars.
That's not all. SpaceX is aiming for an ambitious goal here on Earth as it works to develop passenger rockets capable of taking you to any city in the world in 1 hour. Joining me now for more is Chad Anderson. He's the CEO of Space Angels, a private investment group based here in New York that focuses exclusively on the space market. Chad, great to have you here and perfect day for it. First of all, does this sound reasonable to you? I mean, Elon Musk does make these grand projections. Does that sound like it's possible to be thinking about Mars at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it's an ambitious plan, definitely, and he said that. But he also said that it's feasible, and he laid out a very practical plan for how he's going to fund this thing and how he's going to get there. And that's, something that we look at very closely when we're looking at companies, is to see somebody who's got a very ambitious plan, something that can attract the best of us, the best human capital to focus on a big problem and have a very practical plan to get there.
It seems like things have changed dramatically since you had these sort of tech CEOs really engage in space. We talk about Elon Musk, obviously, but Jeff Bezos with Amazon, with Blue Origin, we know Richard Branson, they're all sort of in this space race. What has that done for you? How has that changed investing in space?
Absolutely. It's all happened very quickly. So it's 9 years, Musk said in his speech, to the day that he first launched his Falcon 1 rocket. And so in 2009, he launched his first successful commercial payload. And in doing so, he did a lot to disrupt the space industry as we know it. And he made some technical advances, but he also changed the way that we do business in space, primarily just by publishing his pricing and making it a transparent, open playing field. And in doing so, it ushered in this whole era of what we like to call the entrepreneurial space age. And so since 2009, that's a real key turning point. We've seen the amount of investments in the sector increase dramatically, exponentially. The number of companies, new companies, that have succeeded in getting external investors to put money into the sector is increasing dramatically as well.
It's amazing because I saw some stats that you had 225 startups in this space area. So we tend to always concentrate on the big ones, on SpaceX, on Branson. What do you look for when you're investing, when you're sort of doing that seed money, that early startup money in some of these other smaller companies? Are there themes you look at?
And the fascinating part about that stat is that 90% of those companies have happened since 2009, have come about since 2009. So absolutely. So when you look at the SpaceX reveal today in Australia, and you see a great plan, master plan for SpaceX to take us to Mars and the moon and everywhere in between. And it looks like SpaceX is doing everything. But where I see obviously a ferocious entrepreneur and leader leading the charge here, because no one else is, I see a lot of opportunity, and at Space Angels we see a lot of opportunity in ways to help support that vision, to get involved in that, and to support the companies that could provide support. So for instance, things that he didn't talk about, how is he communicating with those ships? How is he commanding and controlling them? Is there an opportunity? For instance, we've invested in a lunar transportation company that's launching with ULA in 2019. They're taking a rover to the moon, and they've got payloads on board, and one of those is going to be another portfolio company of ours that's providing the first laser link to the moon.
Amazing. Right? So all the little bits that go behind that big vision. Very quickly, we're almost out of time. This is early. You're a venture capitalist. This is early stuff. Do you think these companies will be public one day? Is that the ultimate bet you're making?
Well, as a general theme, more companies are staying private for longer.
Yeah.
I think that SpaceX is a perfect example of this, and the reason being is because he's got this big, bold, ambitious plan, something that no one else has the audacity to say or do. And by bringing in public money, it could steer him off course.
Yeah.
So I think
quarter-to-quarter expectation.
Right. And so I think that those types of companies will continue to stay private as long as they can to fulfill their mission. But I do think IPOs are a potential exit, but an acquisition is more likely, considering the money that's in the sector.
Well, it's fascinating early days, and I think some detail we haven't thought about before. So all you ambitious, aggressive investors out there, Chad, great to see you. Come back again and keep us updated.
Thanks for having me.